This is the leaves on the stream exercise. Start out by getting comfortable. There's no particular way you really need to sit, just whatever's comfortable and allows you to breathe easily. Start with taking some deep breaths, breathing in really slow, really controlled, holding the top of that breath, and breathing out really slow, really controlled, all the way down to the bottom of your belly, and hold the bottom of that breath. Just pause. And as you start to breathe normally, go ahead and start noticing your senses. Notice what you can hear. Notice what you can feel, like the temperature of the room. Notice if there's anything you can see around yourself. Once you get into that more centered place, I invite you to close your eyes to help with the imagery. If you don't want to close your eyes, if you're not in a safe space, feel free to just focus on a spot on the floor, on the wall, somewhere neutral. What I'd like you to do as you continue to breathe, I'd like you to imagine that you're in a forest. And start by building the ground underneath yourself. And as the ground builds, trees will sort of sprout up and grow over the top of your head. And the branches will reach out from there. And at the ends of those branches, leaves will bud out. And when those leaves bud out, they'll create patterns of sunlight on the floor, the ground all around you. And just sort of put yourself into that moment. Maybe feeling a cool breeze or some warm sun. And start by noticing the sound of leaves blowing in the wind. As you notice the branches sort of brush against each other, you'll hear that rustling sound that leaves make when they blow against each other. And as you start to notice that sound, try to imagine the smell of old, dry leaves. That smell of leaves that have been sitting on the ground floor for a long time. That earthy sort of smell that they create. And then also notice the feeling of that cool wind and the warm sun on your shoulders. And just notice that this feeling is sort of calming. And that this place, this forest that you've created, is a calming space for you. A place that you can refer back to, that you can go back and feel that comfort if you need to. Now, as you're noticing this comfort of this calming space, I'd like you to imagine that somewhere off in the distance you can hear the sound of running water. That sort of whooshing sound that water makes when it goes over little ledges and waterfalls. And I'd like you to imagine moving toward that sound, just walking forward. And as you do, you'll feel the ground get squishy with every step as you step on the leaves. And sometimes you may hear little crunches of dry leaves and sticks. And as you move through your forest, the patterns of sunlight on the ground will change the temperature you feel as you walk. And just see if you notice any of that warmth on your shoulders as you pass between trees. As you pass by the trees, feel free to reach out and touch them, feeling the roughness of the bark, feeling the strength of those trees. And pretty soon, as you continue to walk through your forest, you'll see the source of the water. You'll notice that a little ways ahead, there is a stream running through the middle of your forest. Now, as you approach this stream, you'll notice that it's not very wide and not very deep, but the water is flowing pretty quickly. And that's when you notice that the temperature of the air changes. As the cold water cools the air around it, you feel a little bit of a chill in the cold air. And when you get close enough to the stream that you can look down into it, that's when you'll notice the smell changes as well. That now you're getting that sort of wet, muddy smell rather than the dry earth smell. So take a moment to just take all this in, this calm space that you've created for yourself. And feel a little bit of peace, a little bit of comfort in this space. And just as you start to feel some comfort, as often happens, notice that a thought is going to pop into your mind, sort of uninvited, unexpectedly. But that's okay, because is I just want you to notice this thought for a moment. I just want you to notice the thought coming into your mind. And as it does, something kind of strange is going to happen. Notice that that thought hovers out of the top of your head and starts to float around your head like a little fuzzy ball of light. And it dances around your head almost like a firefly attracted to a flame. So just take a moment to notice this bizarre experience, noticing the light dancing around you. And I'd like you to imagine reaching up and plucking that thought out of the air and placing it in the palm of your hand. And notice that as you do, it feels almost weightless, but has a distinct warmth coming from it. And as you look into that thought, as you look deep inside of it, you can see your thought replaying itself over and over, almost like a repeating clip. And just notice this thought and how you have some control over it. And as you do, notice that that thought will connect to your body and it'll create some emotions around it. It might create joy or it might create fear or sadness. Just take a second to notice that, this thought's effect on you. And then as you do, I'd like you to take the thought once again. And this time I'd like you to imagine that a leaf falls from a tree and lands on the surface of the stream. And when it does, I'd like you to imagine taking that thought and placing it on the leaf. And when you do, notice that the leaf carries the thought like a little boat down the stream, around some bends and past some trees. And eventually it disappears from sight. And just notice that for that moment, that thought is out of sight and out of mind. That you're free from that thought just for that moment. Now that thought may return. It may try to float back up and try to dance around you again. Or it may be gone for a while and new thoughts may come in. But go ahead and work through this process one more time. Allow the thought to come in. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Just notice it. Notice it float above your head. Take that thought, place it in your palm. Notice that thought for a moment. Notice the effect that it can have on you. And then finally, take that thought and place it on the next leaf that falls on the stream, letting it go down the stream, floating away, freeing yourself from an attachment to that thought, even if just for a moment. Now, as you do that, go ahead and take another deep breath, breathing in really, really deep, all the way to the top of your lungs, and hold the top of that breath for a moment. And slowly breathe out, all the way down to the bottom of your belly, and pause at the bottom of that breath. And as you start to breathe normally, notice that the forest is going to start to fade into darkness, almost like the sun is going down. The trees disappear into darkness, the stream disappears into darkness. And notice that eventually the darkness that you're looking into is actually the backs of your own eyelids if your eyes are closed. And let that awareness kind of bring you back into your body as you start to notice the sounds around you again. Notice the temperature of the room and the feeling of the place that you're in. And then finally open your eyes, noticing any kind of light, any kind of textures, any kind of colors. Go ahead and take one big final deep breath, bringing yourself back into the moment.